Let's see if we can get this old Steiner to do anything. Nothing is happening. Headlights or anything, what? Nope. Got some bolts. Nothing on the starter though. Uh-oh. Nope. Hey guys, welcome back. What we have here is a Steiner 304 four-wheel drive multi-purpose mower, steep hill mower. It's pretty much identical to your Ventrac mowers, kind of like the one that Diesel Creek has, except this one has a gas engine on it. It's a KUBOTA gas engine. Looks like a diesel, but it's a gas engine. Is it right on the front there? Anyway, if you watched my previous video, we went to a junkyard or a machinery graveyard and we picked this thing up. It had all flat tires. I did put some air in the tires to get it home. We still got one tire that is probably going to need a tube. So we tried to get this thing running and we got it to spin over, but we could not get it to fire. We sprayed some starting fluid in it, and I'll post a link in the description for that video if you want to check it out. So I think there's some kind of like lever or something that's keeping it from firing. So this thing had weeds growing all around it, and we got a lot of those cleaned up. There's still some remnants of it. The coolant, it had a tiny bit of coolant in it, but I think it drained out after we spun the engine over. It does have a busted coolant reservoir here, so that might have something to do with it. So yeah, that is about the tiniest little alternator I've ever seen. But anyway, this thing has auxiliary hydraulics. The hydraulic lines are kind of pooched on it, not looking too good. And this thing, it has a individual, you can put that in first or second gear, basically low and high gear. So yeah, this is your battery compartment right here, and also has some weights on the back. There's another compartment full of starting fluid. That's not too good. So let's take a look at the gas tank in here. That thing looks, ooh, yeah, that is really nasty, and it smells bad too. Well, it smells like varnish. There's still some in there, but it is rusty. Now, what I did find is pretty cool about this. This is a incredibly solid gas tank. It's basically a steel I-beam, and it has this drain right here at the bottom, so maybe we can clean that out and see if we can get fuel to it. Let's see if we can get spark going to this thing, and see if we can get it fired up. One thing I did notice is this right here. Now this is for your PTO, and that is basically your PTO on, which is down, and up is your PTO off. And this bar goes up front and moves this lever right here. So I would think it wouldn't start without this being pushed in. This goes back here, so whenever this lever goes up, it pushes that. And as you can see, we still got some more vines left in here. But as all hydraulic steering, it pivots right here in the middle. Let's just take this air filter off and see what it looks like. If we can. I think it's stuck on there. Well, that doesn't look too bad. Well, it does A little dust in it, but it's not horribly bad. So yeah, let's get a battery in this thing and see if we can get it to fire. All right, let's get this never start in. All right, got our battery in. Turn the key. I'm getting volts, but nothing's happening. Let me try and push this button in at the same time. See if that does anything. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Sweet. Alright, so I guess this button right here has to be pushed in. Alright. Yeah, it's turning over good now. Alright, I'm gonna push this button in here, turn the key. Alright, so we should be getting spark now. Let's just hit it with some ether real quick, see what happens. So I tried to get the switch back in here, but it wouldn't go, so I just put a zip tie on it for now. Let's put some starter fluid in here, see what happens. Try this little starter fluid they had in the compartment here. Uh-oh. Man, this thing is cranking right up. Yes. All right, now we got to get some fuel to it. I want to go ahead and actually take this carburetor off and get it cleaned out first, and then maybe think about cleaning that fuel tank out, and or just putting a separate tank on it for now. Get some of this crap cleaned off the engine. Get this cover off. One way to do it. You're one goofy dog, you know. You're one goofy dog. You're chasing after the ducks. Chasing after the ducks. The ducks done left. Come on. Come on. Hey. You have fun? You have fun, girl? Huh? You got your sweater on? You got your little sweater on? Alright, let's get back to work. Let's get this hitch off of here. Just might put a left-handed thread on there. Lower that thing's on there. Let's go ahead and take this fuel sender off. See what it's looking like. this is what ethanol fuels does to gaskets or sealant or whatever that is. So yeah, there you go. Let's get the seat off. Let's check out what's behind this cover here. Alright, looks like our hydraulic pump. It's probably our seat switch, emergency brake, fuel pump down there. Oh, Black Widows galore right there. Don't know if there's any live ones, but a bunch of eggs. This thing is not wanting to cooperate. Alright, so I'm having a lot of trouble getting this brake disc off. It's keyed with a key in there and an Allen screw, but somebody already took the Allen screw off. I guess they already tried to take this thing off, I don't know. But it's out. There's one bolt, tiny little bolt, right back here that's holding it on right here. I don't know if you can see it, right there. Alright, I've been trying everything to try and get this off. I did find this little three-way puller. Let's try that, see if that does anything. The thing is, I would heat this up, but I can't heat it up because I don't want to damage that seal on the transmission. Finally. There we go. One rotor. Look like maybe, yeah, the brake rotor was kind of rubbing there, probably from that Allen key being missing, so be sure to put a new one in. Alright, let's go ahead and get this carb unhooked. I did notice a crack right here, and that's going pretty much all the way through, so I need to weld that up and probably put a rubber hanger on there. Alright, I've been beating on this dang ball gasket. I think I finally got it to break free. Ugh. Well, I've seen a lot worse. It definitely smells like some high-grade varnish. Yeah, I would say that thing was pretty clogged. Alright. That is pretty clean. I mean, that thing was completely full of black varnish down there. So unfortunately, when I pulled this fuel solenoid out of the carb, this needle broke off. So while we're waiting for a new one to come in, let's go ahead and get this gas tank cleaned out. So this thing is extremely rusty. Hopefully we can save it. Only thing I'm going on is this is some really solid metal. So let's try and get this gas cleaned out of here. That way I can heat this bottom thing up here and maybe we can get it off then. Yeah, I don't think anything was flowing through that. Get all that old varnish cleaned out of there. Alright, let's see if we can get this cap off. Alright, let's try it now. Oh yeah, easy now. They must have some kind of thread sealer on here or something. Wow, look at all that crap. Oh my gosh. Surprise it. Wow. Alright, let's do a little experiment. Let's see how flammable this stuff is. Oh yeah. This stuff's still really flammable. Need some good fat lighter, I guess. So I got this thing pretty cleaned out, but there's these baffles in here and I can't get to it, so I really didn't want to do this, but I think I'm going to cut an access hole right here just so I can just weld it back. Wow. So I'm thinking that I might have to cut another hole. And it's not, this stuff like isn't rust. It's like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's gasoline or. Alright, I think that's as good as it's gonna get. There's a tiny bit of surface rust, but that's nothing. Yeah, I'm gonna run a filter on this thing anyway, so. But for the most part, it turned out pretty good, considering what it was. Alright, we got the new solenoid installed on the carb, so let's hook it all back up. Alright, we got the carb installed. Let's go ahead and get this fuel line replaced. So also we got this old fuel pump. Let's go ahead and get that pulled off and see if we can fix it or replace it. Completely clogged with varnish, like a tar. I don't think that guy's gonna work again. All right, before we start getting this all put back together, let's give this thing a much needed bath. Half of it. There's our other half. Well, all right. I'd say that's a good bit cleaner than what it was. Still definitely not perfect. Let's go ahead and get some of this stuff put back together. By the way, I did find the hour meter on it. It's really hard to see down there, but it says 1,442 hours. All right, let's go ahead and get this brake caliper on. I was able to find a set screw for that to prevent it from rubbing against the case here again. Little anti-seize over here. This thing takes any water. Alright, let's get some gas in this thing. Alright guys, well, got all the carburetor and stuff put back on. Turn the key on and fuel pump's running, so it should crank up. Why do we got fuel leaking? Alright, what is that? And what are we leaking here? Why are we leaking out of the tank? Oh yeah, got it disconnected so all the fuels ran this way. That ain't good. Let me put a pan under there. Alright, I'm gonna let this tank drain out, and the reason why I don't have it connected right now is because unfortunately we have a very small pinhole leak right here, and that's on one of my welds. And it was actually one of my welds that I thought might be bad, but I decided not to put a little spot of weld on it, and I really regret doing that now. Because now I have to take this tank back off, clean it all out in order to weld that. That sucks. Oh well. I'll let it finish draining out and take it off, clean it up and weld it. We'll go ahead and start putting this thing back together. Guys, we fixed the gas tank leak. Got it hooked all back up. She is purring like a kitten. It's running awesome. Gotta get a tube for that tire. Let's go ahead and bring her up in the shed. Have a little bit more light. So I think we have a stuck thermostat, because we also have a slight leak at this hose. Like, this hose is cold, this is all cold right here, and like the block is warm. The temp sensor works, I just think our thermostat is stuck, so go ahead and take that off. Water wasn't getting past this thermostat to the sensor right here, so I'm pretty sure that thing is, because the water's hot, before, you know, after it, but before it, oh, this is cold. So it's definitely blocked right here where the overflow passage is. There's also like this calcium buildup on it, so I can test that putting it in some boiling water, see if it works, but I'm pretty sure that's bad. Another thing is this whole cooling system probably needs to be flushed out because the actual drain underneath the engine is clogged, so I can't even drain the coolant out. So just by doing that, now the gauge should move, which it does. So yeah, definitely a stuck thermostat. Alright, let's just do a quick compression test. Could probably use some new spark plugs. Let's see what we get. This is cylinder number 1. Oh yeah, about 200. Alright, we got cylinder number 2. Exactly the same, about 200. Same thing, 200. Yeah, 200 on every one. Exactly the same. That's pretty good. Alrighty, we got a few parts in, and we got a lot more on the way. I went in and picked up one of these mechanical fuel pumps. I mean, it has an electric one on it now. Actually, this is the electric one, replacement for it. And, you know, I just, whenever you have the key on, the pump's running, and, you know, so I think I want to try the mechanical pump out. Got some new spark plugs, hydraulic filters, got some tractor hydraulic oil here. This thing was like completely empty on hydraulic fluid, and it kind of scares me. And I did put some of the regular hydraulic fluid in it, which is not what you want to use in this machine. So hopefully this tractor fluid is the right stuff. It says it is compatible. Some of these AC Delco plugs. I was looking for the NGK plugs, but nobody had any in stock around me, so I had to get these guys. That thing is like so nasty. It's got all kinds of, this whole tube is just full of that. It's gonna need a good flush. Definitely gonna need a new belt. That thing is shot. This water intake tube is not looking so well. Neither is this tube. So the rubber inside's still kind of pliable, but the outside is not so good. Looks like I'm gonna need a new one of these tubes, or make one. A bunch of chunks are coming out of that. Alright, let's go ahead and start draining some of these fluids. Valve here, it should release the oil. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty black looking. Alright, let's let that slowly drain. So this filter here, this is the filter that looked up for this engine and
this is the one on it, so definitely looks a little different. So last time this was changed was 5/15 of 2007. So goodness, that thing's on there too. Yeah, this one looks like it might be a hair too big. I think the one that I got's the right one. Yeah, I think that other filter that they had on here was just had something they had laying around, because this definitely looks more like the correct filter.
Alright, let's fill this engine with some Downy fabric softener. I think it will run pretty good off that. Alright, let's get this hydraulic oil drained. I believe the front here takes 7 quarts. Ugh, well that ain't good. A small amount of metal shavings on the plug. It's not a ton, but it is a little bit. We'll see what the oil looks like. Alright, that front diff had a very small amount of metal in it. Let's see what this rear one's got. Rear's got probably about the same. Just I mean, it's a small amount. I doubt this fluid has ever been changed in its entire life, so that could still be from break-in. There's the hydraulic fluid. Doesn't look the best. Well, it's got a little bit of goo in it. So, yeah, this thing definitely needed changing. Looks like almost might add a little bit of water or something. I don't see any metal, but it could be down the filter. Should probably cut this thing open and check it out. Alright, while we wait for those fluids to drain, let's swap out this manual fuel pump here. So if any of you guys think this is a bad idea, please post it in the comments. I don't see why it would be. I really figure it'd be a better idea than having an electronic fuel pump. Alright, we got the fuel system finished, and I'm much happier with the install than with the electric pump. As you can see, it goes down, it goes to the frame, and it goes through the middle of the frame here and up to the fuel tank. So before, I had to go up under this part because the fuel pump came out too far and I couldn't go through this hole to go through the center of the frame. So yeah, it's a lot more protected and cleaner install now. So this is my original fuel sender gauge. I got this universal adjustable one, so you can kind of, I mean, you can have this thing like way out. So we'll cut that about there. Tighten these guys down. Alright, we'll see how that works. Alright, got our sending unit installed. Let's see if it works. So, fuel gauge here. Turn the key on. And we got a fuel gauge. Alright, I got some new lights for this thing. So, let's go ahead and put these guys on.
we go.
Hi guys, this old water pipe coolant tube has not fared so well. So this got me a copper 3/4 inch pipe. I kind of pressed the ends on it to hold the pipe here. This one didn't turn out as good, but it will hold. I'm just going to solder on a tab here and drill a hole in it, and I think we'll be good. Alright, that turned out pretty good.
Was really on here. Wow. So clogged up, nothing's even coming out. There it is. Alright, we got clear fluid coming out. Flushed it all out really good. Let's get this water coolant tube installed. Alright, let's get these filled up with the tractor torque fluid or hydraulic fluid. I just put a 5/8 heater hose over this because it's almost impossible to fill, and that's where they tell you to fill it. So slowly but surely does it. So we got our new thermostat in and a new water pump belt, but in order to take this old one off, I have to take this PTO shaft out in order to get it off, so let's do that. Go. Alright, all that just to get rid of this old crusty belt. Definitely needs replacing though. So I did the best I could cleaning this radiator out, and it looks alright. I used a little bit of muriatic acid and water, flushed it out really good. There's just no room to get to these bolts under here. What are you doing, crazy girl? What are you doing, crazy girl? Alright, got the radiator installed. Looks like my coolant copper pipe fits pretty good. Let's go ahead and get this thermostat and tube in, and we'll be done with the radiator. Coolant for the sun.
do a little experimenting on this coolant reservoir tank. Well, a little coolant reservoir tank isn't looking perfect, but I'm sure it will hold water. I think it's about time for a new seat. Let's see if we can fix the seat slider. Alright, that's as good as it's gonna get right there. Alright, let's see if we can get this welded up. Man, this stuff is just paper thin. I mean, I'm barely putting any on it. Well, that's about as good as I can get it. I mean, it's it's not the best, but I mean, gosh, it was so thin, and there's got to be some kind of other metal mixed in with this, because when it's almost like a impregnated aluminum with the steel or something, or some kind of stainless. I really don't know, but it did not want to weld right. So anyway, let's finish putting this thing back together. So it looks like one of my headlight lenses, the seal broke on it and the bulb is shot. So I'm probably gonna have to get a new light or get a bulb to fix that. This one I think works, but for now I think I'm gonna install these aux beam pod lights on it and see how that goes. Alright guys, I think we are done for now. Alright. Man, you just gotta love that KUBOTA engine. Wow. Let's test this thing out. let's see what it can do with this hill. This is a pretty steep hill, and you know, cameras don't do justice, so. Yeah, it doesn't look bad on camera, but that's a pretty steep hill. Felt like the front end was coming up with some weight on the front. See, I got all this weight in the back, so the front doesn't feel as heavy like if I had a mower up there. Well guys, I think this is gonna do it for this video. We're gonna have a part 2 on this Steiner 430 tractor. And part 2, we're gonna get the mower deck all fixed up. So there's a couple pieces that are missing on this machine, and one is the double idler pulley. That way I can hook the attachments to it. Also, the whole front grille assembly is missing, and that supports this. So if anybody has any of these parts that are willing to part with, sell, or even donate to the channel, that would be very much appreciated. We're also going to do a little bit more odds and ends fixing this thing up. One of these days I'm going to completely restore this tractor, so you guys can be on the lookout for that. But I really like this thing. This thing's pretty cool. Unfortunately, we might be having a problem with our hydraulic pump. It operates fine, but take a close listen in here, and you kind of hear it's almost like a spring, like rattling noise every now and then. It doesn't do it all the time, but just take a listen. Right there. Like every now and then. I can't tell if it's coming from the steering or if it's coming from the hydraulic pump. As far as the RPMs go, it doesn't seem to really make a difference, but hear that? I guess it does make a little bit of a difference. So if you guys have any idea what that could be, please post it in the comments. So it looks like in part 2 we're going to be probably disassembling the pump or rebuilding it, either one. You know, remember I did find a little tiny bit of metal shavings in the bottom of the oil. So also we're going to be taking this thing apart and rebuilding it. It seems like the spindles move, but something is locked up. I don't know exactly what it is just yet. Could be this main spindle here. MD 460 mower deck. But yeah, I can hear this thing. It's almost like a popping spring sound, and it doesn't do it all the time. It just does it every now and then. Right there, you hear that? That could be. I mean, it runs and drives fine, like, so yeah, I can kind of feel it in the steering wheel when it does it, like ever so slightly, like, I mean, just barely. So other than that, it runs great. So yeah, I will see you guys in part 2. Hopefully you guys join me there, and we will be digging into this thing a little bit more, and get the mower deck working, and we'll cut some grass or cut some trees or whatever, and see if we can maybe rebuild the hydraulic pump or whatever's going on with it. So I will see you guys then. Y'all take care. Later.